As an animator, it's incredibly easy to never finish anything, starting a million mini projects but never really committing to any of them. We all do it, and to some extent it is beneficial to our progression since you actually get better at the part that does matter, which is animating. Unless you don't do that either. But if you truly want to deepen your understanding of animation and the entire pipeline, I think it's vital that you develop the skill or the ability of taking shots to completion. There's a lot of steps that go between having an initial idea and actually taking it to completion as a finished rendered piece of animation. This video will give you an overview of all of the steps required and provide some insight in each stage. So let's get started. Once you have an idea of what you want to do, the next thing you'll have to decide is what you want your cut to look like. We need to have a good understanding of what we're aiming for if we want to be successful, and the way to do that is by creating a mood board and benchmark documents. You can use any program for this, but I would recommend PureRef or Google Docs since they're both free and very customizable. This will become our standard and compass later if we get confused or lost. Anything that captures the vibe or the feeling that you want to convey should go into the mood board. Reserve the benchmark for images or references that you can actually match or achieve. Our final result should not look out of place with the benchmark. It's a good practice to do this since it trains you to see the vision before even starting, and being able to match your work with it makes it so much easier to work with others since you can tangibly describe your vision. So I'm just going to show you guys my mood board and benchmark documents. So as you can see, this document is pretty huge. This is a collection of pretty much any image that I thought would help me to kind of visualize the project. I don't think you need to go that far when you're doing it, but you can if you want to, and I did. And anytime I would work on a project, I'd pretty much have this document open. But as you can see, it kind of has the vibe that I wanted, like super detailed stuff, like super messy. Yeah, I think my actual like proper mood board and benchmark are down here. So my main inspiration was Bibliomania. I love this manga, or I guess it's a one-shot. It's by Machiro. The art for this is just incredible. I really wanted my work to have the same feeling and evoke the same emotion. And I think this was my benchmark. I wanted like Ghibli-esque characters, so the designs wouldn't be super simple. You would have this like two-tone shading at the very least. And for the backgrounds, I had a bunch of these references. These are from Kiri-Lu. It's a very skilled animator. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Everything else is just like support material, nothing else like super important. It was just mainly this stuff that's my benchmark in mood board. After all that, now we can finally touch the canvas. We have our idea and benchmark. All we need to do now is just plug in our own work. Put your brain to work and sketch out a few thumbnails for scenes that you'd like to animate. Once you have a few that you like, just pick out the most promising one, add values. You can spend a bit of time on this since this is essentially the first window to the final result. Here are some of the thumbnails that I made. If you haven't guessed yet, this is for a short film that I was working on. I don't think I'm gonna actually finish it, so don't ask me to do that. But on the plus side, now I have a bunch of stuff to show you guys. So these are some of the thumbnails that I developed. You don't have to go that detailed, but at the time I just couldn't see the shot unless it was this much, like detailed this much. Obviously I didn't do that for all of them, but as you can see, these are some of the shots. And this is the one that we're actually gonna do, which is just the temple shot. It's just gonna be a wide shot, and we're gonna have the camera pan down as we see our character enter the actual shot. Yeah, it's pretty important to have these values blocked out because it helps so much. If you're struggling with that, just try and think of basically where you want the light source to be, and that would just be your lightest value. I'm not very good with values either, so If you're struggling here, I'm with you. The following step is just to animate it, how you would roughly. Make sure you also roughly block out the background. We're probably gonna finish it later, but it's important you represent it in this stage. You can gather or record references here as well, whatever helps you achieve your benchmark. Your process will vary a lot between yourself and other animators, so you don't need to compare yourself here. Whether you like to have many or just one pass for the actual animation, but we can stop once you have the rough animation to a level that's at least readable. The next step is pretty crucial. You want to render the background and the character for 1 frame. What we're trying to do here is essentially get a snapshot of the final result just to check if we're on the right track. Do this and then compare it to our benchmark, and then we just ask ourselves a few questions. Is it on the right track? How does it fare? Are they matching? Etc, etc. So we've decided that everything matches. If it doesn't match, obviously go back and keep working it until it does match the benchmark and where you want to go. If it's all good though, now we can start on the cleanup and the coloring. This part is very self-explanatory. It's just the grunt work that you have to push through to get to the other side. Once it's done, the animation is like 90% complete. All that's left to do is just final touches, gradients, VFX, whatever you want to add that's not super necessary before we actually take it out of Clip Studio. But this process can actually take so long. I'm brushing over it because it's very tedious and it's like super simple in theory, but you can spend a lot of hours here. Finally, the last step in this is just After Effects. This is usually the step where we can amp up the final scene even a bit more. I'm just gonna fast forward to the final result where everything is actually done. And yeah. So we're in After Effects. I have the final shot here. Basically, I only did like some really simple stuff. I have the shots. I added Lumetri so I could push the values even more. So this is before and after. I just pushed the contrast a lot. I played with the values here. I think exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks. It's just a bunch of, like, you just have to play with it. There's no like logic to it, at least the way I'm using it. I also added a key light so I could add this extra layer of snow, which I think helps a little bit. This is more of the snow, and that's pretty much it. I kept it relatively simple. Yeah. So that's pretty much it. This is the process of everything. It's a little bit self-explanatory in some parts, but there is so much difficulty in bringing this from start to end. If you plan on doing this, I wish you all the luck. Let me know if this video has helped at all, and tag me if you end up using it in anything specific as usual. Thanks again, guys. Take care.